I love this social experiment that this woman did. She made a post in the 2X chromosome subreddit saying, I did something incredibly inappropriate at work, but it proved my point. Let's get into this post. She said, today my male coworker and male manager were talking about the male loneliness epidemic. And I heard them say something about how hard men have it on dating apps. And I jumped in and said, you think women have an easy time on dating apps? And they both said they thought men were unequivocally oppressed on dating apps. These people do not know the word oppression, but okay, whatever. She says, so I pulled up my Tinder and I handed it to them and said, you have 10 minutes to scroll through these oppressed men and find me one that you think would make a suitable partner. Some of my favorite quotes included, why is he holding a firearm to his head? Why is he naked? Is he being intimate with another woman in this picture? The answer was yes. Do you think he showers? Answer was probably not. Do you think he showers? Answer was probably not. There is a moldy Starbucks drink behind him. Finally, they did find a man who looked like a nice guy. He looked clean, and there were no firearms or D pics, and his bio wasn't great, but it was general and acceptable. I matched with him. His first and only message came up about 10 minutes later, and he says, you gonna let me F. I also showed them this message. Anyways, they no longer believe women are just violently bullying average-looking men on dating apps. They accept that men are their biggest enemies when it comes to online dating. Should I let my manager swipe on Tinder for me? No, I absolutely shouldn't, especially not in the office. Do I think it was worth it? Yes. I love everything about this social experiment, and I really do wish that men could see some of these profiles. I make these profile videos all of the time. I make them, we laugh about them, but they are deplorable. What these men are putting forward, the product that they are putting forward to get swiped on is atrocious. You can smell these people through the picture. They are saying, absolutely don't pick me. I put in no effort. I barely clean myself. I will put in the exact amount of effort into our date as I did onto this dating profile. They put no profile bio. All they put is a bunch of like mean stuff about women and inappropriate sexual stuff. It's terrible out there. That's the reason why so many women are coming off of the apps, because it is terrible out there. Anyways, let's look at some of these comments though. This is where I was tagged in. I appreciate Confused Pantaloons for tagging me in, saying Bourbon Bougie, an example of how men have no idea what a woman is going through. Props to the OP for standing up and showing what women have to go through. I think we should do this more often. I think women should do this more often because these men really think that women are out here oppressing them. It's like these white folks that think that they are oppressed in the world. Yeah, no, that's not how any of this works. All right, let's look at some of the other comments. Estragon 26 says, perfect. I'm sick of people saying how easy dating must be for women. It's like telling someone who posted a job and got 400 applicants they have it easy even though none meet the qualifications. We're in the 2X chromosome subreddit, but we have a man. We will return after a brief mansplanation. Weird Individual Guy says, I think it's because when people say women have it easier, it's in the sense that they get to pick and choose versus men who have no choice, but to hope they get picked and chosen. Also, it's more of an I would rather type of situation, as in people would rather be on the side of being able to pick versus on the side of hoping to get picked. Like job interviews, most people would rather be the interviewer who already has the job versus the interviewee who's hoping for a job. Sure, the interviewer may not have great candidates, but at least they have a job. Tiny Galaxy says, but you're the interviewer and the people applying might unalive you, grape you, mug you, or possibly be decent. You have to interview them in person. They could disguise these motives until they have you in a compromising spot. Still want to be the interviewer? Estragon 46 responds to the man, this part, I think it's because, and she says, I don't care. She says, edit. Well, I think after I explain something you already know in great detail, you'll find that you'll rather have 400 useless tires, some of which want to unalive you, than zero tires. No, I don't actually. And then this person is wondering, then why are you bothering to read or reply to their comment? Just to make them see that what they're saying is ridiculous. That's why. Background Ruth says, this post may have temporarily restored my will to live, Queen. Still Cryo says, issue is, they're exactly the kind of men that just swipe on any women because woman pretty. So they think because they think that, loads of other guys must think that too. Therefore, any attractive woman must be getting loads of matches on Tinder. That's where their thinking stops. Yes, women can get matches easier than men on Tinder, but the quality of those matches are atrocious. That's why they can get more matches, because so many men swipe as soon as they see a woman they want to F. Genuine connection, shared interests, common life goals, not even a thought about it. I've had male friends before complaining about how unfair Tinder is as a guy, while their profiles are grim. Alternatively, I've seen female friends' profiles, and they always have so much more effort put into them. I recently had a guy friend tell me the key to Tinder is just swipe yes on everyone and sort it out later. Dating apps are vastly different experiences depending on which side you're on. Uzimi says, I haven't spent too much time on dating apps for a few reasons, but my experience being trans is also unique. Before realizing when I was seeking for women, I apparently did something cis men don't do: read profiles. Attraction is important, but I wanted someone I had stuff in common with. I understand why straight women don't put much, if anything, in their profile since men don't read, but it was frustrating. I've also heard from straight and bi or trans women that they put the fact that they are trans at the top of their bio, and men will still surprise Pikachu when they bring it up in messaging. So this person puts, I'm trans on this profile. The dudes don't read, and I bet you these men get upset that a trans person turns out to be trans. Because they refuse to read the profiles. Reasonable Ambition says, I was commiserating with some friends about how rough the dating apps are, and a married guy in the group chimed in and insisted it can't be that bad. We went through a bunch of profiles, and his comment was, okay, but where are the good guys? I think 3 girls yelled exactly at the same time. And I'll end with Candy Coated Dinosaur saying, I love the bad Tinder conversation songs Lukey makes. I showed them to my male partner, and we spent the evening scrolling through pretty much his entire catalog on Instagram. My partner laughed just as loud as I did, but the embarrassment he felt on behalf of his gender was really obvious. He finally asked rhetorically, what is wrong with men? So I searched until I found a really weird woman-initiated conversation, like one or two, and told him it's not only men, it's just mostly men. I don't think it made him feel any better. I did meet my partner on Tinder, though, diamond in the rough. I'm glad that some of these men are open-minded enough to actually look on the other side and see that women are not just going crazy or just complaining for absolutely no reason. All right, join the conversation, y'all. Let me know what you think of this one. Yesterday, I introduced all of us to Chef Amber. In this post, she triggered men. She definitely triggered men. She had men all throughout her comments, the Hemotionals, because she says she is not cooking unless she gets hired to cook. She says, I am not cooking for you on a date. On a date, I want to kick back. I want to have someone serve me. I'm not doing it. This got the men's crying. This got the men's talking. So the dudes are mad. They're coming into her comment section to shame her or insult her or attempt to insult her. And she's giving it right back to them. And she puts out this post, and this one made me chuckle a little bit. I like this woman. She says, don't ask me to have sympathy or pity for crushing male egos and feelings that make negging jokes and comments for attention towards women for fun. I already said I don't date men shorter than me. Clearly, I'm not planning on being the bigger person ever. And then she gives us this picture. Please take a screenshot. It says never, ever, ever. She said, I am not going to be the bigger person. But I like her because she is matching energy. Like they come at her insulting, she insults them back. These dudes need to learn their place, and obviously their place is not in her comment section. This is another post. She says, one stupid question deserves another. Men on here think it's funny to ask me about oil changes and car detailing when they get offended by my posts. But when I ask them if they are a top or a bottom now, all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. And she is asking this question. Now, here's Queen Perseus again. I did see her in that first set of comments that I brought to you yesterday. Queen Perseus says, they keep calling me mean like I'm not aware. This is the woman that said she missed out on the opportunity to poison a man, and that had all of us laughing. Now, Chef Amber says to her, girl, they calling me big dog and asking me masculine questions, which is dumb because everyone should know about car stuff, especially when you own a car. But when I ask them about their feminine side, now they don't want to play no more. Chrysalis gives us this picture. Please say, because Chrysalis gives us this picture. You might want to take a picture of this just in case you need it. Now, this is math right here. It says 2 bottoms do not make a top. That is hashtag facts, hashtag math. Chef Amber says, oh my God, I just cackled. Cranky Dax at the bottom says they probably ask these questions while sitting in the waiting room of their car dealership, getting their logbook servicing done. She says, I need to know. They want to imply that I'm masculine, but when I want to talk about being feminine, it's an issue. That's wild. And the crazy thing was, I was all types of big bro, little man, and bruh until I started back. Now they sensitive and don't want to banter no more. Sunny, the creator, says stay on their tops. They deserve it. Now, this woman says instant follow. I did have to follow her as well. Now, we got a dude. We have a dude that steps in. He says, why does it have to escalate so quickly? And then she asked the question, how did it escalate? I think it balanced out. They asked me questions about being masculine. I asked them questions about being feminine. What's wrong with that? Now, Just Does It says, you ever heard of the sandwich method? That's where you put your complaint in between 2 compliments or whatnot. But Chef Amber said, yep, but why would I do a silly thing like that to preserve the fragile egos of people that try to intentionally neg me? That doesn't make sense. All right, so this woman asked the question, well, did they answer? Seems to me that would only be fair if they expect answers from you. And then right here, she says he never answered. All right, I'm going to share with you these screenshots. This man named James jumped into her comment section talking to her. He's calling her big dog. So James says, how much to detail my 3 cars, big dog? Tyler laughs at that. And then Chef Amber says, how the F would I know that? I hate when people try to be funny and they end up sounding stupid, especially since you literally said the same thing somebody else said. Negative points for unfunny, unoriginal commenting. And then she throws some tomatoes. James says she's making a PSA like this is a dating app. I'm just trying to see if she has any useful skills since she never cooks. And then Chef Amber, it's in her name that she's a chef, says, I'm making the PSA to piggyback my previous post that you clearly didn't read, hence your ignorance. You don't make the cut anyway, so I'm not going to bother to engage you further. But the crazy thing is he says she never cooks. Her name is Chef Amber. Like if he just had a little bit of logic, considering these are the most logical leaders, he would have been able to put 2 and 2 together and see that she does actually cook. He's still talking about this detailing. He said, I already found a detailed coming Thursdays and doing our 3 cars for $1,200 in and out. A day late and $1 short, big dog, because she's missing out on detailing his 3 cars for this $1,200. And he keeps calling this woman big dog. This dude is out of pocket. And she said, You said that like I was actually going to do free labor and research for you, and then had the audacity to say a day late and a dollar short like I missed out on something. Wow. And then he said, I tried. You do feet or facials? And then that's where she says, you a top or a bottom? He says to her, you can just say you have no skills, jive turkey. He says jive turkey. This is not the 1970s. He says trying to shame with the homophobic responses played out. A copy and paste joke that makes the crowd go silent. He laughs and does the thumbs down. To that, she says, that was a legitimate question that hasn't been copied and pasted, but your car post was. I can't shame a community that I'm a part of. I just figured you might be too because you seem a little, you know. He said, so making jokes under your post about what you won't do for a man while dating one implies I'm bisexual like you makes no damn sense. You didn't think I was funny? Cool, goodbye. And to that, she says, you implied I was masculine by calling me a big dog more than once. And now me asking you about your feminine side is where you draw the line. Run along now. This is another post that had dudes in their feelings. She says, since I already told y'all I don't cook for a first or any dates, I'll tell you a few more things about me. I don't date men with children. I don't date chronic smokers. I don't date men shorter than me. I'm 5'9". Then she says, there, I said it. Do with this list what you will. Now here's my homie, Miss Mesa King. She says, scrolls for predictable mantrums, name calling, and a few pick me insisting that your standards are too high for your age, ethnicity, or appearance. Bonus round. Men positively shrieking about how they don't care, yet somehow feel the need to comment and engage with the post they don't care about. And then here's Chef Amber saying, they are showing out and proving my points for real. Now, Shar Star Carr says, I'm shocked at how triggered and disrespectful they are. Why would you be shocked? This is how they are. They come in like they have absolutely no qualms about insulting women. But this woman says the people that she doesn't date. She doesn't date men with kids, chronic smokers, and men shorter than her. She's 5'9". This gets the men upset because she has these preferences. But men have preferences as well. And sometimes Black women aren't their preference. Sometimes darker skinned women aren't their preference. Sometimes heavier set women aren't their preference. They have their preferences. Okay, cool. She has hers. Y'all had to see this one. This person calling himself Flawless Victory says, after looking through your page, you might want to start making expectations ASAP. That is what he says. Start making expectations ASAP. Now, Dr. Ashley says the difference between exceptions and expectations is whooping your tail right now, my guy. LOL. Animal House says, imagine being a chef and not wanting to ever cook for a date. Someone you're interested in? Diabolical. These dudes are hurt. Mary Bassandra says they're about to lose their minds. And then here's Chef Amber giving us this picture. Please take a screenshot. You might need that. Now here's Christopher. He says, I don't date women who don't cook. I don't date women who don't do anal. I don't date women who make lists. Let's see what Christopher looks like. I highly doubt women care about who this man is dating. I doubt that they care. Anyways, I will leave it there. Y'all join the conversation and let me know what you think of all this. Like, comment, and share.